Hey guys, welcome back to another deck profile video. My name is Kiddo, and today I will be showing you how to build a Gyze Blaster deck in Premium and also some tips on the deck. Yes, this deck idea actually came across when I was trying to build my Messianic Lord Blaster in Premium. Then when I was going through my collection, I came across Blaster Exit, and then I was thinking, there's Vanguard Blaster Rapier that lets you check the top deck, and the new Blaster Duck that gives you Twin Drive. And then somehow, for some reason, Gyze just popped up in my mind. So I was like, sure, let's build a Blaster Gyze deck. Yeah, so without further ado, let's begin. Yes, as you can see, this is the deck list of my Gyze Premium deck. It's actually been, I think this is prototype version number 3 or probably number 4. I've done a couple of changes during the past few days when I was trying to modify the deck. So as you can see, the very first card on the list is Blaster Blade Exceed. Yes, this is the main card of the deck. So the reason why it's the main card of the deck is because it allows you to search for itself when you ride a strike unit with Savior, with the name Savior in it. So it guarantees you to go into the ultimate strike, which is going to Gyze. So that's why you play 4 copies. And next, I play 2 copies of Messianic Lord Blaster. This is kind of like a backup plan. So if you go first, it can be pretty deadly. There's a possibility where you can one-shot your opponent when they're in grade 2. Because if you see the whole list, which you are looking right now, I actually run quite a different number of blaster in the deck. I'll go through all those blaster when we go down the list. Yes, so 2 Messianic Lord Blaster, and I also play a copy of Arc-Saver Dragon. Initially, I wasn't thinking about playing this card, but there are times where when you fought against a player that has played against Gyze quite often, they will either rush you really hard before going to grade 3, or they will sort of like stall you for a bit, but most of the time they just gonna rush you. And the 1 copy would be sufficient because you have stuff that actually lets you search for the Blaster Arrow that allows you to search for the Arc-Saver Dragon. So you don't have to worry too much about it. You do not have to run like more than 2 copies. Initially, I actually run 3 copies to try to test it out, but it makes it pretty clunky, and then I reduce down to 2, and then I reduce down to 1. So right now, I'm quite happy with the ratio. Yes. So yes, the grade 3 lineup, which I find it pretty suitable for me, which is 4 copies of Exceed, definitely 4. 2 Messianic Lord Blaster, and 1 Arc-Saver Dragon. So this is the grade 3 and grade 4 lineup. So next, we go into the grade 2 lineup. So Blaster Rapier. This card is really good, not only just in standard, but also in this deck. It allows you to check the top of your deck. So if it's a trigger, just leave it there. Allows you to drive check, allows you to like take the damage during your opponent's turn, which is really good. 4 copies, no doubt. Next, we have Blaster Duck. This card is really good. It really allows you to perform Twin Drive before going to grade 3, like during grade 2. So 4 copies. I play 4 copies because I want to guarantee that my grade 2, it's always Blaster Duck. It's always Blaster Duck. But you gotta be careful. You have to play a Royal Paladin on the rear guard. Otherwise, the trigger that you drive check, the ability won't activate, like for example draw trigger or heal trigger. So you have to be careful. You just gotta put a Royal Paladin on the board, then it's fine. So next, I play this the Violinist, Starlight Violinist. This card is really good. It allows you to fetch any grade 2 that you desire. So let's say for example you have a Blaster Duck on the board and you are able to do Twin Drive, but you just want to make sure that you actually get into a trigger. So you can use, if you have an extra counterblast, you can use the Violinist to call the Rapier out to make sure to allow you to check the top. If it's a trigger, just leave it up there, or something else that you want. So next, Blaster Blade Spirit. I only run 1 copy of this card in the deck because it has a blaster in its name, and it's a different blaster unit compared to Blaster Blade. And it's definitely fulfills Messianic Lord Blaster's ability if I have to run Messianic Lord Blaster. Yes, so only 1 copy, just 1 copy. The ability doesn't really matter, but it's just a name. Next, I only have one Blaster Blade in this deck. Initially, when I first built this deck, I run 4 copies, like a playset of this card. But most of the time, I don't really play it on the Vanguard Circle because there's no point for me to try to retire my opponent's Vanguard. And most of the time, I'm trying to use my Vanguard to attack my opponent's Vanguard. So I started to reduce this card, and of course you do not want to completely remove this card from the deck because it is also another blaster unit. So I only run 1 copy in this deck. Yes, just 1 copy. So 1 spirit and 1 normal blaster blade. And our final grade 2 is Blaster Arrow. So Blaster Arrow, it's only there. There are two reasons. One reason is it has a blaster in name. Second reason is it helps me fetch Arc Saver Dragon. In case when I need to ride Arc Saver Dragon as my Vanguard. Yep, before I go into grade 3 or before the next turn of my grade 3, I play the Violinist to search for Blaster Arrow and then discard a card and then search for Arc Saver Dragon. It's sort of kind of like you compress your deck by 1 card as well. So yeah, just some small combos over there. Yes, so this is the grade 2 lineup that I have for this deck. So now our grade 1 lineup. I play 3 copies of Vanguard Youth. Initially I play 4 copies, but most of the time I actually got my Blaster Blade Exceed. I think only 1 out of 6 games, yes, 1 out of 6 games, I actually had to use Vanguard Youth to fetch into my Blaster Blade Exceed. So I sort of reduced it by 1 copy to play something else. And up to now, it's still pretty good for me, yes. So 3 copies of Vanguard Youth. And I play 3 copies of the Starlight Fodder. So initially, yes, I also play a playset, but most of the time I don't see a problem for me to go into my stride. And then you just only need to go into your stride once. After that, you can just keep fetching the Blaster Blade Exceed every time you stride. Yeah, so I decided to reduce it down to 3, and it's still running pretty smooth for me. So yep, 3 copies. And next, I play 2 copies of the Vanguard with Blaster name. Yes, it's a Blaster unit. I only play 2 copies because I actually played, I think it was 3 copy, my first version, but I slowly reduced my Blaster Blade down, so I sort of reduced my Vanguard Blaster down to 2. The only reason it's in there because of the Blaster name, and this one game I managed to 1-turn kill and win the game with it on the field because it is a Blaster unit. So yep, 2 copies of it. And next, 2 copies of Blaster Dagger. Yes, it's a Blaster unit, and it's a 10k shield as well, and it's an 8k power just in case, I don't know, sometimes you want a 8k grade 1 as your Vanguard, or yeah, depending on the situation. But yeah, it's a 10k shield and it's a Blaster unit. Same thing, Blaster Javelin, Blaster in name, so 2 copies. So total I run 12 grade 1s, and it's been working pretty well for me. So yeah, so this is the grade 1 lineup. Now our trigger lineup, I play 6 copies of draw triggers, so 4 Sentinel and 2 of the Margot, 4 copies of heal trigger, the 20k heal trigger, 6 copies of crit trigger. So the crit trigger is mainly there for the 15k shield, which is pretty crucial. 6 draw, 6 crit. I find it's pretty balanced for me, and this is the ratio that I'm actually comfortable in most of my decks. So yeah, 6-6. And the heal trigger, instead of playing the old 10k, 20k sometimes is very crucial because most of the time the trigger, actually all the time, all those triggers that you drive check into, it doesn't add into your unit's power. So you need some shield that is big enough. So sometimes before going to grade 3, you need a 20k shield to prevent more damage coming in. So that's why I play the new heal trigger. Yes, so this is the trigger lineup. So now let's head into our stride deck. So the first card in our stride deck is actually my Vanguard starter, the Neon Gyze. So it's not in the stride deck, don't worry about that. So the actual first unit that we have is the Alot Peace Saver. The Alot Peace Saver, this will actually be your first stride and your main stride of the deck. It allows you to drive check 4 times, increase the chances of you getting a trigger, and also accelerate into that 5 Zero Dragon ability. Yes, so I play 2 copies. Technically you just need 1 copy, but having a second copy just in case when shenanigans happen, you needed to stride into that for counterblast or something else. So yeah, 2 copies maximum, that's all. Next, I play 2 copies of King Alfred. This card is actually really good. It technically allows you to drive check 5 times. So 3 from the Vanguard and then 2 from any blaster units that you actually have on a blaster blade unit that you have on the field. So yes, it also helps you because it has a cost of flipping itself up. So if it allows you to get into that GB3 Ultimate Strike requirement as well. Yeah. So but I don't think throughout my games I actually didn't strike into this unit that much. Most of the time it's just going to P-Save and then the Moscow G Guardian, GB3 and then Ultimate Strike. That's all. Yeah, but you never know. Always good to have a backup plan. So 2 P-Saver, Gunslot P-Saver and 2 Alfred Savior. Yes. And next, let's head into the G Guardian. So I played 2 copies of Maron. Maron is pretty good, help you to sort of like thin down your deck, and because it allows you to get a great one from your deck and then to put into the G Guardian, the Guardian to guard. Pretty good. And also try to like accelerate into your GB3 as well. And 1 copy of Assault. I actually never get a chance to use Assault, but you never know. It has a counterblast ability that gives you 5k shield for every single rear guard on the board, so it could be pretty handy, especially you don't get trigger power from your damage during your opponent's turn. So it could be pretty crucial. So 1 copy. And of course the MVP, not really MVP, but an important piece to accelerate into your GB3, which is the Moscow G Guardian. So most of the time you go into, like I mentioned before, you go into Gunslot P-Saver, and then after that you G Guardian with this Moscow, straight away become GB3. Then next turn, since you already have another Blaster Blade Exceed, bam, straight away into Ultimate Strike. Yes, that's how most of the time it should be. That's how it should be played. Yes, so yeah. Definitely 5 different copies of the Zero Dragon. So technically you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 cards in your strike zone. While there are 3 more slots, you can add in any G Guardian or strike unit you want, up to your choice. And yes, you don't have to go up to 16. It's definitely your choice. Yeah, so this is the strike deck for this premium Gyze Blaster deck. So yeah, as you can see, this is the deck that I am very happy with it for now. I might do a bit of changes in the future, maybe, but this is what I have come to conclusion for the time being. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile, and if you have any suggestions, any comments about this build that you would like to share, please comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out all the deck profiles, idea, tips that I'll be sharing with you in the future. Yes, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.